everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Three Rivers Financial Wellness Podcast. It's Ashley, Austin, and our special guest, Haley, today. Hi. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody about your role, what you do at Three Rivers, and how long you've been here?
I'm the HR intern. I go to college at Ivy Tech. What I do is I kind of do a lot of the projects that they give me. So anything that Steve or Chris give me. I've been here for 3 months, so it's been a good 3 months.
And you are working throughout the whole summer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
I do think it's cool that you get to do as an intern, because I know a lot of times, like, a lot of internships at a lot of places, it's like, hey, can you like go make copies?
Yeah.
Like, hey, we have this cabinet that we haven't
Right.
used in 5 years. Can you like dig through it and like organize it?
I want to do HR like throughout the rest of my career and stuff like that. I'm actually studying for human resources right now, obviously. The hope is to stay at Three Rivers, for years and years and years to come. So that, I don't know if I want to do recruiting yet, or like be with Chris, or if I want to do more of like the training and development side. This internship is to give me experience in everything, to see if I really want to do recruiting or if I want to do training and development, just to see which one fits me best.
I've learned over the years that I can plan all I want, and then I go, I'm going to redream. I want to do something else. So you can have all the best laid plans. You're like, I'm an HR person, and then 5 years from now, you'll be like, you know what? I want to try something different.
Right?
So who knows?
As you've experimented with a lot over the last couple of years.
For sure. That's part of how financial wellness for Team 3 was born, was me experimenting. So tell us a little bit about what drew you to Three Rivers specifically.
So once I found out that I wanted to do HR, I kind of was looking for a more corporate. So I didn't know if I really wanted to work at like a healthcare, or if I wanted to do banking. I wanted to do at least one of those two. When I was searching on Indeed and LinkedIn and stuff like that, I was like, oh, the Three Rivers, I should really apply. So yeah.
Awesome. So it's just you knew about us, and it's a great fit.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I know you kind of have a little bit of a financial wellness story that you planned on sharing today. Do you want to kind of walk us through what that story looks like, and how being at Three Rivers has kind of impacted how you view financial wellness?
Yeah, so obviously, with Three Rivers, we have to do the certificate. When I met with Ashley, we kind of talked about like what my goals are within the next few years, what's my now, the whole process. Recently, obviously, I have to get a credit card, build credit and stuff like that for use later on. And I used it to buy something. I wanted some new golf clubs because I started to get into golf.
Yeah.
I really want to get better at that, and I really wanted to invest in it since it's something I love. I bought that with my credit card. And, when me and Ashley had our meeting, I was like, hey, I don't know. Obviously I want to pay it off. I was going to pay it in increments, or I didn't know if I wanted to pay it all off just in one. So when me and Ashley had our meeting, we discussed which one I should do best. And I did end up paying it off all in one, which actually was such a huge relief. I feel so much better. I don't have to worry about it anymore, and it's strictly just going to be for gas now. And then we kind of talked about another goal that I had. So I have a separate savings account from another place that I bank at, and that's kind of like one that I can easily like transfer, kind of emergency if I need it right away. And then I have one with Three Rivers that's kind of harder for me to get into and get the money out. So the one that I have at Three Rivers is for my car. I'm trying to save for a car by the end of summer. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can get it.
She's got some really aggressive goals with her car.
Yes. So I want to save up by the end of summer. I want to save up half of either the down payment on the car, or I want to just pay it in cash. So obviously, if the car is $10,000, I need to have $5,000 by the end of summer. Or if it's $20,000, I need to have $10,000 by the end of summer. Obviously, things happen, lives happen, so hopefully I can stay on track of my goals and, get that car by the end of summer. If not, maybe it'll be towards the end of the year, so.
It's okay.
Yeah.
That's part of what we talked about, is priorities change and stuff happens. So if you change your mind about your car. We also talked about affordability a little bit, and used some of the calculators from our website to say what makes sense. We talked about what kind of payment is she comfortable with if she does do a loan. And so I thought it was interesting from going in a really short period of time, Haley, you went, man, I put up my golf clubs on my credit card. Wow, that was fun. To like, man, I need to buckle down. I am got some goals and I want to accomplish them. And you're crushing it. Mm-hmm. So that's part of why I wanted to have you come on here and share a little bit. Tell us a little bit about where that, like, your money goals come from. Like, why are you so motivated in that way?
My dad has also kind of taught me, like, if you really want it, then you need to make that a priority because, obviously when I just got a new job, when I was like 16, I was like, man, I really want a new phone. And he's like, okay, well, you give me this much, I'll pay the other half, and then you get your new phone. If you really want it by this time, you can have it. So I did. I ended up saving the money and I got the new phone, and it kind of right then and there like set my like standards, like, okay, if I really want it, I'll get it. Do I want this or do I want something else that is like my actual priority? So that's kind of like where that is rooted from, because, if I want it, I will get it.
Yeah.
Which I think is great that he did that, because I think so often it's easy to go on both extremes, which is like the first extreme, which is you're not getting anything, you're not getting that, or the other extreme, which is, oh, no worries, we'll get it for you, full cost. Like right. There's something that you like learned that saving, and now I think you're seeing how that's translating as you're saving for a car, or as you're saving for paying off this credit card. And I actually want to go back to the credit card a little bit because it ties into something that we talk about all the time, which is that financial wellness. I think so often we focus on it mathematically, and the words that you used was, when I paid that off, it felt like a relief. We forget the picture of like you were carrying a weight on your shoulders of like, oh my gosh, this credit card balance stresses me out. And when you had that conversation and decided to pay it off, I'm sure part of you was like, oh my gosh, this is a big chunk of money that I'm sending out of my bank account.
We had lots of conversations about that, actually.
Yeah. So I'm sure the stress beforehand was almost like worse, but then once you did it, a few years back, I graduated from college and I had $12,000 in student loan debt, and I wanted to buy a house, and I had $12,000 in a house account for a down payment. And I was like, do I pay off the student loans and postpone the house, or do I get the house with the student loans? And I went back and forth, same thing. And I remember I was so scared to hit click. I was like, this is $12,000 coming out of my account. And now I have the house, and I look at it and I go, I'm so glad that I have the house without the student loan, because the house on its own is already a lot. Adding the student loan to it would have just made it even bigger of a stressor. So I think you'll see, over time, that I think you'll feel a lot better.
Yeah, I definitely do. That's another thing is like, I would be in the same situation, like when obviously I have student loans and stuff like that. So obviously that's going to be what I'm paying off before I move out. So because I don't want to like be living outside my means, I would rather be living at home with my parents rather than struggling living paycheck to paycheck. It's kind of scary sometimes. So. And
you can have a house and be, what we call house poor, where people have houses and they can't do, can't go golfing, can't go on vacations, can't go to Disney, all these things that we love to do. Like, your house is part of your life, not the full life. So.
The other thing that stuck out to me about you, Haley, specifically in our conversations, was you had a moment of like, Ash, I just need you to tell me what to do. Do you remember what I said to you?
Kind of.
I have a guess.
What's your guess?
I got a guess that you said I can't tell you what to do.
Correct. Have I told you that, Austin? It's like, yeah. I think this is pretty common, though, with the financial wellness conversations that we have. A lot of people just want, like, the answer. And I hardly ever tell people the answer. Number one, it has to be your goal. But number two, you have to be happy with the decision you make. And if I say, oh, well, the answer is pay off your golf clubs, don't use your credit card for stuff like that, you're doing it for me, not for you. I saw, like, in you, I asked a few more questions, and then you were like, oh, well, I know what to do. Mm-hmm. I said, I think you have your answer. I think it's been interesting, like, to see your growth on, obviously, in HR, but in your financial wellness in such a short period of time. It's so cool to be able to see you, like, grow and decide, like, here's what I want and here's what I want out of life. And then you're following through to make it happen. So I love that you're focused on finances so early and young in life. It's so cool. So I also wanted to ask you one other thing about, we've had a conversation about you and your boyfriend and student loans and kind of philosophy on that. So would you mind sharing just a little bit about your conversations that you guys have had about to pay off student loans or to not?
Well, it's kind of like what Austin said too. Like, we don't want to be in a position where we're living paycheck to paycheck, or we're struggling or house poor, like you said, because that's a lot of stress. And obviously I have student loans now, and I already feel the pressure on my shoulders. So I know what's ahead of me, and I know how I want to pay it off. I'm already planning for it. We're both already planning to pay them off before we move out, because we don't want to have both a mortgage or a house payment and electricity bills and stuff like that. Like, you have more responsibilities when you move out, groceries, gas. It's so much different when you live with your parents compared to when you live on your own and you have extra bills. Growing up, I ask my parents all the time, I'm like, how much like do you actually pay in bills? Like, what should I be preparing for? Like, what do you actually pay this or do you pay this? Like, I don't know how any of that works. So I'm just trying to like, we both want to pay it off before we move out because we don't want to have both like pressure of both of those because it's like, it's scary. It's going to be hard. So.
Yeah, and I think it's cool that you were asking those questions early because I know I moved out. I did a lot of research before too, but when I moved out, it's like even when you prepare for it mentally, when you make your first electric payment and then your gas bill in December, when you get that and you're like, what? You know, it's like you didn't even expect what it could be. So to be aware of that, because a lot of times people will also be like, oh, well, like rent's not, I might as well buy a house because my rent's the same thing. And it's like, okay, you know, there's some other things to consider here. You know, you could have, I remember my first 6 months of home ownership, you know, I found out my electric panel was out of date and that was $4,000. And then my central air needed replaced and that was several $1,000s. So it's like, if you're renting, you don't have to deal with that. So I'm not saying one is better than the other, but I just think that it's cool that you consider that beforehand. And I would encourage a lot of people to consider that beforehand because a lot of times people don't, and then they're in tough situations when they're in their home.
When people say they want to buy a house, my first question is, do you have a lawnmower? And they're kind of look at me funny, but I'm like, no, I'm serious. Like, there's all kinds of things you have to buy that are not the house. So, like, do you have savings for that too? So
furniture, appliances. I mean, it's like literally like a $10,000 outside of the down payment and everything, and that's like to furnish like a small house.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
That's not even if you're buying a 2,500 square foot house. So.
So, Haley, also kudos to you for being so awesome as an intern, but also for focusing on your financial wellness. I think the challenge today is talk to a young person in your life about finances. So whether it's the bills that are in your household or student loans or what that might look like, what does your money go towards? And does it need to be in savings? So that's our big challenge for today is talk to a young person in your life, help them with their money, bring them to Three Rivers, we'll help them too. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for listening to the Three Rivers Financial Wellness Podcast. While we're excited that you join us on this journey of financial wellness, we do need to give you a short disclaimer. This podcast is for informational purposes only and isn't intended as financial, tax, or investment advice. Be sure to consult your own experts before making financial decisions. Three Rivers is federally insured by the NCUA and is an equal housing lender.